What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B Mills Wrestling. Obviously, if you're a professional wrestling fan and a WWE fan, you know that on Friday Night SmackDown, we saw the shocking return of AJ Lee. This was the first time that we have seen AJ Lee on WWE TV in 10 years. And obviously, she returned to the WWE to help CM Punk go against both Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. We know that they will be having a mixed tag match at WrestlePalooza. In my opinion, that should be the main event of the show. But the question is, what does AJ Lee do after the match at WrestlePalooza? That's what I'm going to be trying to predict in today's video. For today's video, I'm going to be trying to fantasy book AJ Lee's return run to the WWE. And obviously, we know that AJ Lee signed a multi-year contract, so she's probably going to be with the WWE for more than a year. But for this video, I'm going to be predicting how it will look from now up until next year around this time. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. And don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get into the video. So obviously to start things off, we have AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins at WrestlePalooza. This isn't one that I'm predicting. This is one that's already been confirmed for the WrestlePalooza match card. So not too much to say here, other than obviously this is going to set up a longer storyline. I don't expect this storyline between Punk and AJ and Becky and Seth to end at WrestlePalooza. This will more like be the beginning of it, and I do expect AJ Lee and CM Punk to walk out victorious in this match, probably with AJ Lee pinning Becky Lynch because she made her return after 10 years. I feel like this story is all about her. It's not really so much about Punk and Seth as it is AJ Lee. So I feel like AJ pinning Becky in this match is the right move. Now let's move past WrestlePalooza to Crown Jewel, which will be the next WWE Premium Live event, which will take place in October in Perth, Australia. And I think that we will see Becky Lynch defend her Women's Intercontinental Championship against AJ Lee. And obviously, this is a match that a lot of people want to see. Obviously, you know, we're going to get it in the mixed tag match. We're going to see them fight. And like I said, I think AJ will pin Becky. But I think that that'll start up a one-on-one feud, a proper singles feud between the two women. And I am so excited for that because I feel like, you know, it's like kind of like two eras clashing. AJ being the best of her time, Becky being the best of her time. I really just want to see the one-on-one match between these two. I want to see how well AJ looks in the ring because obviously she was a solid in-ring performer back in her day. But now I want to see her go against like the literal best in the ring in Becky Lynch, or one of the best in the ring, I should say. I still think Io Sky is the best in-ring performer that the WWE has, but that's besides the point. I would be really excited for this match to happen at Crown Jewel. Like I said, I feel like this storyline is going to go on until War Games, maybe further than War Games. We're going to get into that stuff. I don't expect them to, like I said, have a match at WrestlePalooza and then that be the end of their storyline. It's definitely not going to be the end for Punk and Seth, and I don't think it's going to be the end for Becky and AJ. I expect this to happen at Crown Jewel. I don't expect to, have to do Becky versus AJ on just like an episode of Monday Night Raw. That's obviously a big money match that they should do on a PLA like Crown Jewel. And I think that AJ Lee will beat Becky Lynch to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Obviously Becky Lynch, she's had a really incredible title reign. It's just been so much fun, defending against Lyra and Bayley. Nikki Bella, I thought was a fun feud. Like Natalya and Maxine Dupree were in there. Like she's been on every episode of Monday Night Raw since she's became champion. She's been cutting promos, having great matches, like having great feuds. So like, as much as I don't want to see her drop the title, if there's anybody in the world that I want to see her drop the title to, it's definitely AJ Lee. AJ Lee, without a doubt, makes the most sense. If it's not AJ Lee, who is it going to be? Like, that's a real question. Maybe a returning Liv Morgan. I don't know how much sense that's going to make. Roxanne Perez, I would like to see hold that title, but she's a heel at this point. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think it's going to be Bayley. Lyra can't challenge for the title. Stephanie Vaquer is in the world title picture. Like, nobody really makes sense to dethrone her on Monday Night Raw other than AJ Lee. I feel like with AJ being red hot, coming back after 10 years, winning a prize that wasn't around during her time. Obviously, it was just the Divas title. I feel like it would be so cool to see AJ Lee win that title and then just get like an absolute ovation from that Perth crowd, which I expect to be insane. And, AJ win her first singles title in WWE in over 10 years. I feel like that would just be a super cool moment. So I think that AJ Lee will defeat Becky Lynch for the Women's IC title at Crown Jewel. Now let's move past Crown Jewel and let's go to the next WWE Premium Live event, which will take place in November, and that is Survivor Series War Games. Obviously, one of the big four PLEs for WWE, and I do expect Team AJ versus Team Becky here at Survivor Series. Like I said, I expect this storyline to keep on and continue to go as we get closer to WrestleMania season. And I think that if they're going to do a War Games match between the women, which they always do every year, there's always one men's War Game match and one's female War Game match. I do expect it to be Team AJ versus Team Becky. I expect Team AJ to consist of probably Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Stephanie Vauquer, Nikki Bella. I expect that to be her team, so that way she can interact and mingle with all these new superstars that weren't around when she was, aside from Nikki Bella. But I think Nikki will be on the team because it makes sense because she's been around with Rhea and Io. So I feel like nobody else really makes sense in that spot. On Team Becky, I expect it to be the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and then the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez. I feel like that's easy for the heel team. Obviously, Asuka and Kairi haven't made like a full-on heel turn. Kairi at least hasn't yet, but I do expect it to happen soon. I think this is an easy one to predict for War Games. Like I said, what is the match going to be at War Games for the females? If it's not Team Becky versus Team AJ, I literally have no idea. Like, at least this is a legit storyline. Last year, it was just like the baby faces versus the heels. Like, it didn't have any storyline. And then they had all the world champions on the heel team lose, which also made no sense. But this year, this one would absolutely make sense, and it would be so fun. It would be a lot of people's first War Games matches. Nikki Bella, obviously AJ Lee. I don't think that, Stephanie Vauquer obviously hasn't been in one. And then obviously like the Judgment Day, they haven't been in one. So it would be really fun to see all these females get their first War Games match. And, I don't actually know who would win this match between Team Becky and Team AJ. I want to say Team AJ just because I feel like AJ, she's going to win a lot, since coming back. But I could see, Team Becky also winning this because, for the next match that I have, it could help set up. But I am actually going to go with Team Becky in this one. I think that Team Becky's going to win, and I think Becky Lynch is going to pin AJ Lee in this match because I think this storyline will continue past Survivor Series War Games. So I think this will be an awesome match, obviously, but I think Team Becky will win with Becky pinning AJ. Now let's move past Survivor Series War Games to Saturday night's main event. This is where I think AJ Lee will compete on her first ever Saturday night's main event, and I think she will compete against Becky Lynch. Yes, I think AJ Lee will defend her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. I think this will be the end of the storyline. I think that they will have a proper one-on-one rematch, because like I said, I think AJ will pin Becky in the match at WrestlePalooza. Then I think she'll go on to beat her at Crown Jewel for the title. Then I think Becky and Team Becky, they win at Survivor Series War Games, with Becky pinning AJ to lead to this rematch and the final match between these two with AJ beating Becky Lynch. I think AJ will definitely retain against Becky. I wouldn't see a world where Becky would win back the title off of AJ if AJ is the one to dethrone her. So I think they'll have one more match at Saturday night's main event, and I think AJ Lee will retain. Now I'm going to move over to just an episode of Monday Night Raw, and I think we're just going to get a singles match for the Women's IC title between both AJ Lee and Nikki Bella. Obviously, these two have a ton of history. They were both pillars of the Divas division, also Brie Bella and Paige as well. They were kind of like the original four horsewomen of the Divas division, so I would expect them to run this match back at least one more time between AJ and Nikki. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a cool nostalgic match, right? Like, it doesn't have to be anything deep. It doesn't have to be like a crazy storyline if they don't want to. But like just having AJ defend the title against Nikki, I feel like that would be really fun. And obviously I do expect AJ Lee to retain the title in this match. Now let's keep going, and let's go all the way until the month of February, where we will see the Royal Rumble take place in Saudi Arabia. And this is where I think AJ Lee will make her first appearance at a Royal Rumble. Obviously, before she left WWE, Royal Rumbles for the women weren't a thing. So this will be her first one. There's a lot of firsts for AJ Lee. I think it's the big thing about booking this run and why I had so much fun doing it is because she's never been able to compete in these type of matches. And I'm going to get into the other ones as well. So I feel like a War Games match is the first one. Obviously, we're going to get into the other ones past the Royal Rumble. But the Royal Rumble, that would also be her first Royal Rumble match. I feel like that would be such a cool moment. She would get such a great pop, or at least I would hope, because it is Saudi Arabia. But I do expect her to go really far in this Royal Rumble match. I'm not sure where she would enter, but I think that she would make it all the way to the Final Four and then get eliminated by none other than Roxanne Perez. Because that is where I think the storyline between Roxanne and AJ will get kickstarted, and you'll see as I continue to go through this booking. But I think that AJ Lee, like I said, she'll make it far in the Rumble. She'll eliminate a few people, and then she'll get all the way to the Final Four, maybe the Final Three. Right? I think the Final Three or Final Four is fine, and then she gets eliminated by Roxanne Perez. And obviously, like I said, that kickstarts their feud right there. Now let's just move past the Royal Rumble and go to an episode of Monday Night Raw. Doesn't matter which one, but I think that we will see AJ Lee defend the Women's IC title against Bayley. Obviously, these two great friends back in the day. Bayley basically got started, her Women's Revolution era when AJ Lee left, kind of similarly to Becky Lynch and the rest of the Four Horsewomen. So this would be a fun match that I feel like a lot of people would like to see, especially with, Bayley's heel turn coming. I am assuming that's on the horizon. So I feel like a match between heel Bayley and babyface AJ would be very interesting, especially since, AJ, towards the back end of her career was such a fantastic heel. And, when Bayley came up to the main roster, she was Hugger Bayley, a babyface. So I feel like, reversing the roles on that and getting that feud, I feel like it could be a really cool feud. I'm not sure if it would just be like a one match type of thing, because I know I put this on Monday Night Raw, but I don't think it would be on any other PLEs down the line. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like just a match between AJ and Bayley would be really fun, considering their history of knowing each other for so long. And Bayley, being one of those people that has wanted AJ to come back to the WWE for so long, I would really like to see this storyline and match. Now let's keep on going to the next WWE Premium Live event, which I will assume will be at the end of February or early March, and that is Elimination Chamber. Obviously, I think AJ Lee will also be in this PLE because, once again, she hasn't competed in any of these type of stipulation matches, right? She hasn't competed in Chambers. She hasn't competed in Royal Rumbles. She hasn't competed in War Games matches. So I feel like, it's going to be a first for everything with this run. I feel like, if you don't have AJ Lee in these type of matches, you're just fumbling the opportunity of having her do things that she wasn't able to do back in her time, in the early 2010s. So I would really like to see AJ Lee in this Elimination Chamber match with her still as the IC champion, which I don't think is ridiculous. I don't think that she would defend the title in the Chamber. Triple H really likes the format of having, the winners of the Chambers go on to face the champion, the world champion at WrestleMania that wasn't selected by the two people that won the Royal Rumble. And I really like that. I hope that they do stick to that. I don't like when the US title gets defended inside the Chamber. Don't like when they do that stuff. So I think she will walk in to the Chamber as champion. Maybe I don't know who she would win a qualifier against. Maybe that match against Bayley, like I just said, maybe that'll be a qualifier match, and she can get into the Chamber, or Nikki Bella, or someone like that. But yeah, I do expect AJ Lee to make her first appearance at an Elimination Chamber, a match that is. So as far as her winning it, no, I don't think so. Just like the Royal Rumble, I don't think she'll win the Elimination Chamber. I don't know how this would go, but I think we're going to get maybe towards the final four, final three, kind of like the Royal Rumble, and we're going to see Roxanne Perez eliminate AJ Lee. Or she's going to cost AJ Lee. Maybe AJ eliminates Roxanne, and then after the match, Roxanne takes out AJ Lee, costs her the match. I feel like that is more likely to happen, and that way, AJ, not only gets thrown out by Roxanne in the Royal Rumble and gets pinned by her in the Chamber, maybe you can, go a different route, have AJ pin Roxanne, but then Roxanne cost her. I would like that, and obviously you get, you see what I'm getting at, right? So let's keep on going. Now let's get to the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. WrestleMania 42, that is. And I think we will see AJ Lee compete and defend her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Roxanne Perez. Obviously, that was the direction I was heading in by having Roxanne eliminate AJ in the Rumble, in the Final Four, Final Three, whatever, and then cost her in the Elimination Chamber or also pin her in the Chamber to set up this dream match. This is obviously a dream match between Roxanne and AJ Lee. No other way to put it. This is kind of like Lyra versus Becky in a way, but much bigger, in my opinion, just in terms of obviously, AJ was Roxanne's idol growing up. That's no secret at all. Roxanne loves AJ. So this would be a moment, where you get not really student versus teacher, because I'm not sure if they really ever train together, but idol versus, superstar, right? AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez. I feel like it's right there. I feel like this should be the WrestleMania match. There is a couple other matches that I could see them doing with AJ Lee at WrestleMania, but I feel like AJ versus Roxanne, that has to happen at some point, obviously. And why not do it at WrestleMania, right? That would be such a cool moment for the both of them. I feel like they both would really want that. And then I think this is where we see AJ Lee drop the IC title. I think Roxanne Perez defeats AJ Lee at WrestleMania 42 for the Women's Intercontinental Championship and, beats her idol growing up. I feel like that would be just such an awesome moment. Now let's go to post-WrestleMania, where I think we will get a mixed tag team match between AJ Lee and CM Punk once again, going against Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. So yes, I think that we will get multiple mixed tag matches between CM Punk and AJ Lee. I don't think the one with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch will be the only one. I feel like this is one they have to do. First of all, obviously to do this, they have to keep Liv Morgan together with Dominic Mysterio. I really hope that they do. If they don't, they could do Roxanne and Dom, but Liv and Dom, they're the couple of WWE, right? So I feel like it would just make sense going against, CM Punk and AJ Lee, right? I feel like Roxanne wouldn't make too much sense, in that storyline, although she has the thing with AJ, but I would rather them just do a singles match. So yeah, I would really like a mixed tag match between the team of AJ and Punk and Dom and Liv. It would just be two generations clashing, right? It would be so much fun. Obviously Dom, kayfabe or not, he doesn't really like CM Punk, so you have that there. Liv Morgan and AJ Lee, that's the big thing here. I feel like are very similar gimmick-wise. AJ was my favorite female superstar growing up. Liv's my current, so to see them clash at it in this type of match would just be super fun. Honestly, I don't know who would win this match. I could see a world where it's probably CM Punk and AJ Lee, but also like Dom and Liv, don't sleep. Like I feel like they could also win this match. I wouldn't care who won it. I would just want to see the match. But if I have to pick a winner, I guess I would go with CM Punk and AJ Lee. And now let's get to the big money match at SummerSlam, where I have Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against AJ Lee. Now, obviously, Liv Morgan, she's hurt right now. She definitely does not have the Women's World Championship. So you're probably wondering, okay, how does she get the title in the first place? I think it's simple. I think she's going to win the Royal Rumble. I think we'll get an interaction in the Rumble between AJ and Liv. And I think it's going to be AJ, Liv, Roxanne, the final three. Like I said, I think Roxanne will eliminate AJ Lee. And then I think Liv Morgan will eliminate Roxanne Perez, kind of getting her revenge on Roxanne. And then I think Liv goes on to WrestleMania, fights whoever is the world champion, and she wins back the title. I feel like they have to do that. Liv is my pick to win the Royal Rumble, so I hope that does happen. So yeah, I think Liv obviously holds it all the way till SummerSlam, and then she goes against AJ Lee for the title. They're two Jersey girls, like I said, they're gimmicks, crazy girls. Like they have a lot in common. So this would just be a really fun match. This would also obviously be AJ Lee's first world title match since returning to the WWE, because obviously all those prior matches I had were either gimmick matches or they were for the IC title. So this would be the first world title match that she got. So I feel like that is obviously very important. Like we're knocking off a lot of boxes. We're checking off a lot of boxes for AJ Lee in this return tour, or return run, I should say. And yeah, I do think we'll get AJ Lee versus Liv Morgan at SummerSlam, but I think that AJ Lee will fall short. And stay with me. I think that we'll get to where I'm going later, but I think that for the storyline, Liv Morgan will beat AJ Lee for the world title. She will retain the world title. Now let's move on to the next premium live event, which will be held at the end of August now, and that is Money in the Bank. So yeah, don't forget, Money in the Bank this year, or next year I should say, will be after SummerSlam. So there will be no cash-ins at this year's SummerSlam. So I think AJ Lee will compete in her first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. Because like I said, she hasn't competed in any of these stipulation matches, and Money in the Bank would be the last one that she hasn't. So I think AJ Lee will for sure be in that Money in the Bank match at the end of August. And I think that she will win the Money in the Bank briefcase, winning the Money in the Bank contract for the very first time. And then I think she will go on to eventually cash in down the line on Liv Morgan, getting revenge on Liv for beating her at SummerSlam. And then I think we have AJ win the world title for the very first time, which obviously would just be such an awesome moment. I really do hope that she does, for starters, win the IC title. I feel she definitely should. But wins a world title down the line. Obviously right now, it's too soon to do that. But her winning a world title, in a year or two, I feel like is definitely deserved. I do hope that she does get her hands on a world title, and I feel like her winning the Money in the Bank, contract, and then go on to cash in would just be such a cool moment. I feel like she would get such a pop. So that's basically where I am done booking AJ Lee. I just wanted to book her all the way up until the point where she wins the world title. But obviously, for her defending the Women's World Championship, I'm not going to go into every PLE, but some opponents that she should definitely face as world champion consists of Alexa Bliss, Stephanie Vauquer, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton. The list goes on and on, right? Naomi, when she comes back, I don't know if she's going to be back in time before AJ Lee hangs up the Chuck Taylors. If she does, I'm not sure what the contract looks like. I know it's a multi-year deal. But yeah, a lot of dream opponents still, even after an entire year of AJ Lee. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys would like to see from me. All right, guys, peace.